Fresh out of prison, reformed gangster Carlito Brigante is determined to make the most of his second chance and start over in paradise. However, despite his best efforts, his past refuses to let him walk away, and he soon realizes that every decision comes at a hefty price. In New York City, a known drug lord and gangster, Carlito Brigante, appeals his 30-year sentence with the help of his best friend and lawyer, Dave Kleinfeld, who uses the district attorney Bill Norwalk's illegal methods of obtaining evidence against his client to undermine the conviction. Backed into a corner, the appeals court overturns the original decision and frees Carlito after only 5 years. Delighted by this, Carlito mocks the DA's office at the final hearing and gives an impassioned speech about his new lease on life.
Your Honor, I mean it. This is the truth. I changed.
Then as Carlito and Dave leave the courthouse, Carlito confides in his lawyer that he's a changed man, no longer wants to live a life of crime, and wants to build a peaceful life for himself. That evening, Dave takes Carlito out to a club to celebrate his newfound freedom, and the men have fun. Despite being drunk, Carlito takes time out to thank his best friend for giving him his life back.
You saved my life, Dave. 30 years, you know what that is?
As the night progresses, Dave presents Carlito with an investment opportunity in a local club, but Carlito refuses and stresses that he doesn't want to do any shady deals anymore. Then Carlito excitedly shares that once he somehow makes enough money, he dreams of moving to Paradise Island, Bahamas, buying his friend's successful car rental place for $75,000 and living in eternal peace and happiness.
You're gonna rent cars.
That's right. I know a lot about cars.
A few days later, Carlito visits his old neighborhood with his young cousin Guajiro and is shocked to see that so much has changed. He then learns through his ex-bodyguard Pachanga that most of his associates have either died or are in prison, and that most of the streets are ruled by young thugs. Then a few hours later, Carlito meets with his old partner, Ronaldo, who thanks him profusely for not betraying him and exposing his crimes to the cops during his incarceration. Then, as a show of gratitude, Ronaldo proceeds to offer Carlito a job, but is shocked to hear that the once feared drug lord has retired.
I ain't working with nobody.
Nobody? I'm retired.
Later, as Guajiro drives Carlito home, he informs him that he has started working as a delivery boy to the local drug lords and convinces the hesitant Carlito to accompany him as he drops off $30,000 at a nearby establishment. There, Guajiro receives a warm welcome and introduces his legend of a cousin, Carlito, who quickly scans the place and gets an uneasy feeling.
Take care of Carlito. We gotta do some business.
Then Guajiro wanders off with the boss while Carlito stays back and picks up on more unusual movements. As the subtle tension grows, Carlito prepares himself. All hell breaks loose as the men suddenly and fatally attack Guajiro. Carlito shoots his way to the bathroom, takes cover, and prepares to defend himself.
I'm reloaded!
However, Carlito soon realizes that he's the sole survivor of the amateur ambush, pays respect to his cousin's body, takes the 30 grand, and leaves before the police arrive.
But they ain't no friends in this shit business.
Carlito then wipes the fingerprints off his gun and dumps it before making his getaway. A month later, with the unexpected wad of cash in his possession, Carlito takes Dave up on his earlier offer, and the duo buys a local club and appoints Carlito to run it. As Carlito catches up with the business end of the club, he hires Pachanga to oversee the security. One night at the club, Pachanga, who also works as a bodyguard for Dave, gets out of line and suggests robbing the lawyer, but Carlito sets him straight.
Kleinfeld is my brother. Look at me. Look at me.
Later, Carlito is called to deal with an up-and-coming gangster named Benny Blanco, who refuses to pay for his tab, claiming the previous owner owes him money. As soon as Benny sees Carlito, he changes his tone, praises him for his legendary drug-running skills, peacefully pays off his tab, and even asks for some advice on how to grow his trade.
This man here, he's the fucking J.P. Morgan of the smack business.
Soon the club flourishes under Carlito, who dedicates all of his time to learning everything there is to know about it. One night, Carlito summons all his courage and goes to see his ex-girlfriend Gail at a dance studio and waits for her patiently until she finishes her lessons. Despite feeling apprehensive, Gail is pleasantly surprised to see Carlito, and the two go out to dinner, where they update each other on their lives. Elsewhere, Dave is summoned to prison by one of his clients, a mafia boss named Tony T. Taglialucci, who accuses him of stealing $1 million, demands he break him out of prison on his boat to repay him, and threatens his life if he refuses.
All you gotta do is be there with the boat to pick me up.
Meanwhile, as business continues to flourish, Carlito carefully saves all his profits and manages to save half of his goal in just a few months. Proud of his accomplishments, Carlito vows to himself to stay low, work hard to reach his goal in the coming couple of months, and head off to the Bahamas.
35, 40 more, and I'm gone, Daddy. Gone.
One night, an old acquaintance of Carlito named Lalin visits Carlito at the club. Lalin informs him that he has found a lucrative drug deal and asks him to join in. Carlito politely declines and stresses that he has retired. Soon as the men continue their conversation, Carlito realizes that Lalin is wired with an audio tape and working with the police to set him up, and becomes furious.
Let me explain. I'll kill you.
Soon, Pachanga finds out about the ordeal, loses his mind in anger, and threatens to kill Lalin, but Carlito intervenes and stops him. Embarrassed by his betrayal, Lalin soon apologizes and confesses that D.A. Bill has coerced him to spy on Carlito in exchange for his freedom.
Who told him?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I swear to God.
A few days later, Carlito goes to see Gail dance at a local strip club where she's admired by the clients, and the two spend some time together. Meanwhile, Dave, who is now a cocaine addict, starts seeing Benny's girlfriend Steffi, who works at Carlito's club. One day, Benny finds out about this and tries to attack Steffi for disrespecting him. However, Dave quickly intervenes and holds Benny at gunpoint, which causes a scene. As the altercation escalates, Carlito intervenes, breaks it up, and orders Pachanga and his security team escort Benny to his office. There, Carlito warns Benny never to return to the club, but instead of being scared, Benny threatens Carlito's life. This infuriates Carlito into throwing Benny down the stairs. Carlito then orders Pachanga to take him to a dark alley behind the club. There, Pachanga proposes different methods of killing the young gangster, but after some consideration, the changed Carlito orders his security team to let go of Benny, which disappoints them.
All I want is to get my 75 grand and get out.
Later, Carlito advises Dave to calm down and be cautious of his impulsive actions and takes away his gun. A few days later, Dave hosts a party at his summer house where he pulls Carlito aside and begs him to accompany him as he goes to break Tony out of prison. After careful consideration, despite knowing the risks of the matter, Carlito decides to be there for his best friend and agrees to help. Later, Carlito visits Gail at her apartment, and the two rekindle their romance. By the end of the night, Gail buys into the Bahamas dream and promises to join Carlito there. One evening, Dave, Carlito, and Pachanga go on a triple date and enjoy themselves. As the night progresses, Dave picks a fight with an Italian mafia guy.
I'm talking to you. Talking to me? Yeah.
Luckily, Pachanga and Carlito break up the fight. Dave apologizes to the ladies and continues on with the night. However, soon Dave gets high and starts talking about the secret plan to go on a boat ride over to the prison, which annoys Carlito and frustrates Gail, who storms out and heads home.
If you ever talk that shit again in front of her, I'm gonna kill you.
Carlito follows Gail to her apartment, where they have a heated argument in which Gail accuses Carlito of feeding her false hopes about leaving the criminal life behind. She then desperately begs Carlito to stop associating with Dave once and for all. However, this doesn't sit well with Carlito, who feels he owes Dave for getting him released from prison.
All you're talking is bullshit.
You're not listening to me!
Despite Gail's plea, Carlito is unable to abandon Dave, and he storms out of her apartment. On the night of the prison escape, Carlito meets with Dave and is disappointed to see that he's high out of his mind. The duo then heads to Dave's boat, meets with Tony's son Frank, and starts traveling. After a treacherous journey, the trio arrives at the buoy where the mafia boss is supposed to be waiting.
Oh, I see the buoy.
You see it?
There, the group sees Tony and approaches him. However, just as Tony starts climbing on the boat, Dave, who believes that the father-son duo will kill him as soon as his job is done, beats Tony to death.
What the f***?
Disturbed by the situation, Carlito tries everything he can to stop Dave, but it's too late.
You killed us, Dave. You killed us.
Before Carlito can process the situation, Dave proceeds to kill Frankie. Then Dave asks for help in throwing Frankie overboard into the river, and the duo rides off into the night. Still shocked by everything, Carlito warns Dave that the Italian mafia will come after them. However, Dave calmly confesses to stealing Tony's money and asks Carlito to celebrate their feat. Seeing the rapid deterioration in his lawyer's mental state, Carlito decides to part ways with Dave.
Let's get a drink.
Say it!
In the next few days, knowing the gravity of the matter and the mob's stand on revenge, Carlito desperately plans to escape to the Bahamas once and for all. Elsewhere, a few days later, Dave is gravely stabbed in his own office in broad daylight.
Vincent Lucci says to hold that form!
Meanwhile, Carlito visits Gail to apologize and tell her that she was right about Dave all along, but soon learns that Gail's pregnant with his child and is extremely happy. However, before the couple can celebrate this, Carlitos is summoned to the DA's office, where District Attorney Bill informs him of Dave's grave state and plays him a tape in which Dave is heard falsely accusing him of rejoining his old partner in the drug trade. The DA sees through Dave's desperate tactics to save himself and asks for Carlito's help to put the dangerous lawyer, wanted on multiple criminal accounts, behind bars once and for all. Despite being heartbroken by Dave's betrayal, Carlito refuses to testify against his lawyer for old time's sake and instead decides to leave for the Bahamas as soon as possible. He then informs Gail that he has saved most of the money they need, buys train tickets for them, schedules to see her at the train station that night, and heads off to take care of his affairs in the remaining few hours. First, Carlito visits Dave in the hospital, where the lawyer admits to selling him out. Disappointed and remembering the shady people he saw around the hospital, Carlito advises Dave to take care and leaves. Minutes later, Tony's other son, Vincent, disguises himself as a police officer, enters the lawyer's room, and fatally shoots him.
Adios, counselor.
Carlito then rushes to his club, meets with Pachanga, and asks him to safely take Gail to the train station. Then Carlito sees his old Italian mafia acquaintances, who soon introduce him to Vincent. Carlito then becomes suspicious, takes his money, and escapes through a secret door.
Shit!
Vincent and his men chase Carlito around the city and follow him into the subway station. After a lengthy and intense chase, in which Carlito uses his wit to outsmart the mafia men, he's forced to face them head-on in the train station and takes all the henchmen out. Soon, Carlito finds his way to Gail and excitedly runs to her with Pachanga by his side. However, Benny soon shows up out of nowhere and fatally shoots Carlito and Pachanga, who confess to selling out Carlito and leading Benny there.
Oh, God. Oh.
In his dying breath, Carlito gives a devastated Gail the money and advises her to get out of the city and start over elsewhere.
Don't leave me, Charlie. Not yet, Charlie.
Carlito succumbs to his injuries and dies while staring at his dream destination and wondering what life could have been like.
Can't come with me on this trip, though.
And with that, the story ends. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more of the best film recaps.